Primarily, it's for prepayment of some debt that we are carrying for our acquisition of Sahyadri Hospitals about 8 to 9 months ago. We had raised some additional debt, which we intend to prepay with the proceeds of the IPO.
What was the kind of acquisition? How did it add to your portfolio? How much you paid for it?
We paid about 6,300 crores for the Sahyadri network. As you would recall, Sajid, that's the largest hospital chain in Maharashtra. We got about 1,300 beds across 10 hospitals and also a greenfield project under construction. So that really enhanced our network in the western region of India. And we completed what we believe is a very strategic acquisition for us about 9 months ago.
And it's been completed and integrated with your platform now?
Our integration process takes about 18 months or so, Sajid. Goes all the way to the brand getting transformed to Manipal. The early part of the integration is about org structure, IT architecture, clinical processes. That work is well underway, and we expect that over the next 10 months or so, we'll complete the entire integration process.
So, currently for FY26, you had a top line of nearly 10,300 crores. It doesn't include Sahyadri in it, right?
It does. For the 6 months, on a pro forma basis, including Sahyadri for the entire year, if you have to look at, we are just under 11,000 crores.
Okay.
Is the revenue.
So what would be the annual run rate for Sahyadri in that sense?
About 1,200 crores would be the annual.
So that would get added. So you almost paid what, 4.5 times for the hospital?
Yeah, so we look at as an EBITDA multiple, and we paid maybe just shy of 33 times, 32, 33 times EBITDA. But then it is a strategic asset, and it is premium locations across Pune, and we got 3 other locations outside of the city, Ahilya, Nashik and Karad. And we believe that it adds significantly to our network, and that's been the logic of adding Sahyadri to us.
Give us a sense of, once this entire amount is paid off and you're going to use a large chunk of that, over 5,000 crores, which will be used to pay off the debt which is there. What would be the debt profile of the hospital?
So today, Sajid, we have a gross debt of about 10,000 crore, 2,500 crores of cash in hand. So that is a net debt of 7,500. An IPO proceeds of 8,000 crore would mean we could be net debt zero if we desire to be. So that's a call that we will take. Whether we would want to be absolutely debt free or keep some debt and cash in hand, which would allow us to pursue opportunities as they, those come along. So that's the call that we would take as we go along.
I was looking at the numbers, and you've been aggressively doing inorganic expansion, which is there, and Sahyadri is one part of it. How easy it is for you to do a consolidation phase? Is there a consolidation phase happening in the hospital industry?
Yes, particularly after COVID, what we notice is that there are many transactions that are available. While large chains may not be really there, post the Sahyadri transaction, there are still opportunities to acquire standalone hospitals, maybe a regional kind of a facility. I think the consolidation would be a theme in the healthcare sector as we go along. And we've been possibly the leading consolidator in the sector, having done 5 acquisitions over the last 5 years.
From a regional point of view, today I think Karnataka accounts for more than 44% of your top line there. And then you have East India, Eastern India, where you have roughly around 21%, and then rest of India.
Yeah.
The focus has been East and Karnataka so far. How are you planning to increase your focus in South, where there's a lot of regional hospital chains which are there?
Yeah. So one nuance there, Sajid, is that West is now significant for us post the Sahyadri acquisition. That we have a very large network in the West, and we would think about 15-17% of our revenue would come from that region. In addition, we have just completed a transaction in Mumbai to set up a hospital over the next 18 months or so. We will add 600 beds in Mumbai. There is a greenfield hospital coming on stream in Raipur in central India with about 350 beds. So we would, over the next 2-3 years, would become far more broad-based in our revenue base compared to the current profile. Currently, like you said, we are about 43-44% from Karnataka. But that itself, over the last 2-3 years, if you see, the proportions have come down. While the enterprise has grown, we have become more broad-based and pan-India. And Karnataka certainly is a home market for us. But I think what we've been able to do is develop Kolkata and Pune also as home markets. And that's a distinction that we believe that we have.
And what about North? North is somewhere
Yeah.
where your presence is a little
You are right.
limited.
You are right. That is certainly in our radar. We have 3 hospitals in the NCR. One in Dwarka in Delhi, one in Gurgaon, Palam Vihar, and one in Ghaziabad. We are conscious that it is not enough for a market like that, a geography like that. We would continue to keep our eyes open for any opportunistic acquisition that might be possible. Our preference is to acquire and strengthen the position quickly, and maybe also look at a greenfield option. It is there, but you are right that in our mind is a gap that we would need to fill, and we will continue to be alive to that.
You have roughly around 13,000 odd licensed beds,
That's
which
right.
is there. And if I look at operational beds, it's around 6,800, which, as per your RHP, tells me. Of the new brownfield and greenfield which are in play, how much of new beds are going to come in?
So over the next 3 years, we have about 3,000 beds coming on stream, where we have actual line of sight for this capacity coming in place. Then, of course, we have land banks available, which is a potential that we need to keep in mind. We have a land parcel available in Kolkata, in Rajarhat. We have a land parcel in Asansol. So those are opportunities that we will keep in mind at the right time. That is something that we could look at creating capacities. But as we stand today, about 3,000 beds are coming on stream over the next 3 years.
Give us a sense of your average revenue per operating bed, because that's a metric which hospitals are measured by. And since you are acquiring hospital chains in regions, which is tier 2 and other regions which is there, is that going to come down because the blended rate will come down for that?
Yeah, I know blended rate would come down. For example, ex-Sahyadri, the rest of the Manipal systems got a ARPOB of about 71,000 rupees a day in the last year, including Sahyadri. If you look at the whole network, since we own Sahyadri now, it comes to about 66,000. Like you said, some of the tier 2, tier 3 locations will bring it down. But I think that is to be expected. When we have a pan-India network, our pricing would have to be region-specific or market-appropriate. So we would not ever have uniform ARPOB across our hospitals. But I think we are happy with this blended rate of 66 that we have today. It compares well, and I think it also makes it affordable for patients. That it is a reflection of our pricing as well. I think our preference is for ARPOB to improve through more complex work rather than it being price-led. And that's a philosophy on which we operated all along.
The average stay for you is around 2.8 days.
That's right.
One of the lowest maybe in the industry there. Do you think that will compress? And if that compresses, it helps in offsetting the impact on ARPOB?
Yeah, so you're right in putting it like that. The lower length of stay is a strength that we are pleased about, because what it means is we are able to keep our occupancy low. We are able to send patients home quicker, keep the occupancy low, and for instance, our current occupancy is only about 65%, and that leaves us sufficient headroom when we look ahead. A network like ours could easily get to 75% occupancy. So if we have continued to persist on a volume-driven kind of a growth, we have occupancy headroom that is available. So like you said, the lower length of stay really helps in that. And
how do you ensure the volumes increase in these areas? Because in the tier 2 and tier 3, the kicker would be for increasing the volumes of not only outpatients but also inpatients. You're absolutely right, Sajid. I think what we've been able to do is to see that high-end clinical programs are made available in tier 2, tier 3 markets. When we talk about geographies which are smaller than non-city or non-metro geographies, it is oftentimes it's not a matter of there not being affordability. I think it is more about access.
whether good quality, technology, good quality hospitals, and highly skilled doctors are available. I think that's what we've been trying to do. That would drive up, more patients to access the facilities, and that's the way we've been looking at volume growth. And our experience in tier 2, tier 3 towns, we are there in Patiala, we are in Salem, we are in Mysore, we are in Siliguri, and some of these experience tells us when doctors are available, technology is available, volumes do grow.
A key thing for you is because you are a super specialty hospital providing services which is include cardiac, oncology, neuro, gastro, ortho, and renal, which also called Congo in in your parlance. Does all hospitals have that kind of facility? Is that what you start a new operation with? That these are the super specialties you have to start with?
Yeah. So if you ask me, when you launch a new hospital, certainly all the specialties would be there. And we believe this is what will differentiate a hospital like Manipal from anybody else, that the focus on centers of excellence, ensuring that across these 6 or 7 specialties, we are able to offer everything that technology can provide or skill sets can provide. I think this also would ensure that we do more complex work, and I think healthcare is in tertiary quaternary care hospitals is better served when we really focus on that differential and not really spend a lot of time on primary or secondary care work. A lot of that is better handled in smaller locations, smaller facilities, and so that's the way we would want to really progress, keep our focus on these 6 or 7 core specialties and be differentiated in terms of clinical outcomes and technology.
Now, going back to Sahyadri, you acquired nearly 90% of that
Yeah.
company. Is there a shareholder agreement to take entire 100% there?
Yes, we would. I think in the next year or so, within the next year, we will have to pay the remaining 10%, and we would own Sahyadri 100%.
How will you do that? Through internal accruals, or you?
No, this primary proceeds that we are raising now covers that as well. Like I mentioned earlier, our total cost of acquiring Sahyadri is about 6,000 crores. And the debt that we have floated through an NCD is for the 90% that we already paid for. So the primary proceeds really covers everything that we owe for Sahyadri. So we don't have any challenge in meeting the requirement for the next 10%.